Hey guys, Jeff here, and today I'm upgrading the electrical service at my forever home. That's right, I got big plans for this place. We're talking about spa circuit, outdoor kitchen, we're talking hot tub, we're talking EV charger, need more power. So let's just jump right in and I'm gonna show you the process to upgrade your electrical panel to a 200 amp service.
Right here.
And then, okay.
That would be
ideal.
Another option would be to actually go down.
All the way over and then up, one pipe down. I think we try to keep it as sexy as possible.
Yeah.
Keep it simple and then put everything else inside. We're not closing the ceiling up until we're completely done wiring everything. All right, so that means the plan is this. And it's good to have a plan. Sometimes, you got to work these things out on site. Electricians are going to disconnect. We're going to maintain that same hole, which goes through the block, so we don't need to hire a core cutting company. We're going to mount our new meter base at the 5.5 feet from grade, which is code. And we'll have a pipe coming up for the supply and a pipe going down. And we're going to set it up so that it's low enough that it goes across underneath the finished French drain system for our future design for the building. Don't want to miss that. And then we'll come back up to the existing hole. We got to go back inside and start working on some of the preparation work for removing the old panel. What we have here is roughed in for the house. All right? That means every single circuit that's been wired to this home is just sitting here dangled with lots of wire to go into the future panel. Electrician's going to lift all this out of the way. We are going to identify, we have a wire coming through. This is our telephone. So we have to disconnect this. We have a wire coming through here. That's the ground going to the outside. And we have a wire up here. This is our cable wire. Looks like it's coming through possibly the rim joist. We'll disconnect this here, tie it up, and then we're just gonna pull this panel right off the wall, all in one. So there's a little bit of prep work to do here before we can pull this off. As soon as it's removed, we're gonna be in a position where we're gonna rebuild all this while they're working outside to set up all the brand new locations. What's the hell out of me? There we go. This goes straight to the bin. All right. That was the old ground wire. This is the new one. Here's my telephone. This is still going to be disconnected from upstairs. Get that out of my way. While Matt's finishing off digging the hole outside, the electricians are rough tomating where the panels are going to go because we're going to have a break off for a Generac system. So the power will come into the Generac system first and you can switch, it's like a transfer switch, from outside power to the Generac power. It's going to be tied into the system. Then we're going to have a wire going over to the main breaker panel, which will hang vertically. Yes, but all of that I want done on a finished wall. Step one, we're going to cut the foam the width. And the height, we're going to the block, and the block only, and a little bit less. I'll go to 88. When I'm done my framing, I want to be able to have enough gap here that I can spray foam, okay? So getting my nozzle in and underneath the wall is going to be key. The cool thing about rigid foam is you don't have to be perfect, because anything that's not looking good, you can actually repair on site with spray foam. Whether it's in a can or if you got the two-part system like I do. All right. Okay. $38. There we go. It's hammer time. I got a quick message for all the business owners watching. If you're like me, you got into the trades because you like physical work, not because you want to be in the weeds of paperwork or chasing down clients. Running a business means constant quoting, scheduling, and invoicing. And let's be honest, it can get chaotic quick. That's where Jobber comes in. It's made for people like us, contractors, landscapers, cleaners, anyone running a home service-based business. With Jobber, you can send a quote, schedule the job, send an invoice, and get your payment right there on your phone. It keeps you, your crew, and your customers organized. If you've been running your business off texts and paperwork, do yourself a favor. Try Jobber. Scan the QR code here or click the link in the video description to try your 14-day free trial. Cheers. Here we go. We're going to use the 2.5 nail in conjunction with the yellow number 4 22 caliber bullet. That's the explosive round. Safety squints don't work in this scenario on a misfire. Always put the nail first, then the round. You close it, you push down, and then you pull the trigger. Yeah. Try to nail around 6 inches from the outside of your wall. Most situations, I like a nail every 4 feet, but if you're tying into structure, like an outside corner, and you don't want things moving, use as many as you need to make it as strong as necessary. Just don't set it up in the middle of a knot, okay? Try to find some clean wood. $87. Building code. When you are toe-nailing lumber, you have to go 2 nails on each side and set yourself far enough back that the nail won't come through and penetrate your wires. Here we go. Oh, that's just great. And look what I did. Well, I wasn't paying attention. 87 is a little long here. 87 is a little long here. But come on over and take a look at what I did. I went and put that stud right where the hole is for the hydro. Makes good sense for my drywall, but not good sense for these boys. Oi, Jeff. Because this is the basement, we are going to cheat. We don't need every 16 on center. We're going to move it over. Okay. And there we go. 86 3/4. Let's get 3 of those. Okay, now we're framed and we're foamed.
That's where the box is going to go.
Okay.
You want this thing centered on this, or you want it an inch from the top?
I wanted it closer to the top so the bottom still has mount and we have the ability to put clamps on it.
Okay, got you. So then I'll put it somewhere like here.
Like off that line?
That's what I was just saying. And then
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go grab your nailer.
2-inch nails, right?
What?
2-inch nails. Because if we go 3, we're blowing through the drywall. No longer fireproof.
So then you've also got a stud here.
16 off of that. So then we'll do like here.
Basically right into that?
Something like that.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. Perfect.
That's your wall.
I think that hit something.
Yeah, it did. Okay, clockwise, about an inch. A little bit more, a little bit more. Hold it. Got it. All right. Our penetration through the wall is 3/4 into the stud. Guaranteed not to contact a wire. You like that? Time for some bad insulation. We'll get these in here. We're going to start off placing these along the floor, and then we'll measure to cut the top half. This is how easy insulation is when you frame 16 on center. So this is designed to have a moderate amount of compression. It also means I have 1.5 board here, which is 7.5 thick, R value. Right, that's a 7.5. And this is R14. So that gives me a 21.5 R value. My code in this area is 20. If you live further south than Canada, or even if you're in Western Canada, the code will be different. Different zones, okay? So for this right information on your build, you might go down to 14 or even 12 R value total wall assembly. You don't have to follow this process unless you need this R value. And if you got questions about that sort of thing, consider joining our membership program. $5 a month, you can jump into our Discord, ask me questions, and we can confirm your wall assemblies, your installation packages, your whole process for start and build. Help you out, guys, all right? We want to make sure that you're successful as a DIYer. Don't just watch these videos and then guess. If you got a question, you can get help. Beautiful. Okay. We're gonna put a vapor barrier on here. Still our building code, God help us. I'm pretty sure they're taking it off the building code next year, but I'm getting inspected this year. Part of my installation is to have vapor barrier. We're gonna have plastic that extends past the ceiling, up into that ceiling cavity. We go over top of bat insulation because we're doing flash and bat on a rim joist. I'm gonna use the flash and bat. I don't wanna just put all that wire buried into foam. Okay, so we're gonna put in about a 1-inch spray for an air seal, then a bat in front, and then our plastic will go up into these cavities. Our code doesn't require us to seal it up or staple it up, just press it in. So we're gonna go with the minimum on that because it's not necessary in the first place once you have a thermal break and an air seal. Anyway, the code will catch up to us one of these days. For what it is right now, we just want to pass our inspection more than we want to have a fight with the inspector. You gotta pick which hill you wanna die on, right? That's a lesson in life right there. This stuff doesn't compress and bounce back very well. Not like fiberglass, okay? So when you're working with it, you want to be really careful. You don't cause damage because that'll lead to weaknesses in your thermal barrier. So you want to treat it delicately. Don't squeeze it too hard. You'll tear off the corners. Cut it just a little bit longer than you need so you can press it in. But be gentle. Nice and easy. All right. This is where my pipe is going to be. There we go. That'll work. Hello. So they're going to just drill that hole outside just a little bit wider for the new conduit, because the old conduit that was coming through the house was only big enough for a 100 amp service. But now we're bringing in a same lead wire, but a thicker wire from the breaker switch over here. Here we go. Okay. Well, here, I'll give you a hand. I'm on it. I mean, clean holes are nice, but we can always come back and clean it up. We just have to secure the integrity of that hole. That represents the thickness of my finished facade.
Okay.
So at least you got a depth setter here.
Yep.
And I'm just going to throw a couple of these here into that 1/2 inch strap. Now moving forward, at least we're the right depth off the wall, the same as we are over there.
Perfect.
All right. Beautiful. And I can finish and work around that. Okay, so that wasn't the plan, but in order to have that pipe recessed off the wall so we can finish in behind, even though my deck comes all the way out to here and the skirt will come in here, no one's going to see it.
Yeah.
I'm going to know it's there. I want to just make sure that I can get a nice seal later on. Stick the pipe in and just hit it with a marker. This is a template. We're going 1/2 inch drywall and 1/2 inch plywood. This is 1 inch thick, so it gives them their actual measurement. They're going to cut their pipe, adjust it for the fitting with the threads that gets attached to the panel. Then they can have that pipe pre-glued. Then we can get rid of this, spray foam the gap around that pipe, seal it up, put on our vapor barrier, quickly hang a couple of sheets of drywall while they run their wires outside. We'll have our hole drilled in location through our drywall, through our plywood, ready to mount all the panels inside. Bit of an ants, but it's going to be a perfect install. And that is the goal today, is perfection. Very nice. Oh, come on now. Don't be like that. Well, first of all, let me just get this in. I got a brand new knife on me. Brand new knife. Always when you're working with plastic, use a new blade. I know sharper tools cut worse when you slip, but they also cut the plastic without having to tear and whack at it. As soon as you get into whack-a-mole with your plastic, you're screwed. So what you want to do, Matt, is maintain the inside of the plastic, okay? So it's not on the floor. So that way the dirt from the floor is never on your face.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it's over your head. It's kind of like surfing. We're in the curl of the wave right now.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, so what I want to do is I want to have this pretty much flush to the bottom. And because it's 9 foot 6 inches, I like to go with a toe, like 2 inches of plastic, okay? Now see this crease? If that looks level, then we're in good shape, right? This is my secret for hanging plastic. The staple package comes with this little extra piece, okay? Watch this. So what we're gonna do is this. Okay? Now, I now have the ability to come all the way to the other end of the room, find this crease. The secret here is that this should be somewhat level, right?
Yeah, I think
So I'm looking at my 2 inches of plastic down there. I'm gonna hold that nice and tight. There we go. Now you can walk away. Because now we have, yeah, come on out.
getting swallowed by the wave.
Come on out. All right, now we've got our plastic established. The staples that go through that cardboard keep it from being pulled out. So now what we do is we can take the time, identify things like this wire. I can pull this tight. And then I can walk the middle of the wall right up and then go over here. But this allows you to have that kind of control, right? I want to cut this hole inside the rim and then stick it over the top for now. Let's get this out of the way, okay? And so there's a wire that's in the way. All right, we want to get it out of the way. And what I did is I just pressed this plastic around the fitting. So I had cut it the size of the hole, stretched it around the fitting, and now it's almost airtight. Like, it's just perfect. We're going to measure down from the ceiling 21 inches and over 13 3/4. That becomes the center hole, and we're going to drill a 3-inch hole on that center line so that it's big enough for the nut on this fitting as well. When you're scoring drywall, go with as little tip as possible. You're just cutting the paper. You're not going all the way through. Once you've cut the paper, it's kind of like using a tile cutter, a scratch tool. You've created the weak spot where it'll break when you put pressure on it. Always cut the brown paper from the back side. If you cut from the front, it'll start tearing and make a heck of a mess. There it is, that's my spot. There's my hole. Now we'll set up the hole saw. We'll drill out our hole, lift this up, mount it flush to the ceiling. We're golden. Nice. If you have a cheap hole saw kit, you screw it in and it's threaded in. It gets hot, everything expands, you can't get it off. This has got 2 pins. It lines up with the holes in the bit. And then you throw this thread up here and you don't go tight. That's tight. You take it off a bit and let this sit. Little wiggle. That little wiggle, that means when it gets hot and expands, you can take the bit off real easy. My rule for this is drill in reverse. These teeth are too aggressive for drywall. So whether you're putting in pot lights or just making a hole, go in reverse and not on hammer drill. Oh my Lord, okay. Okay, that gives you a nice clean cut. If you're going forward, one of these teeth will grab if you're not perfectly square, and it'll run all over your whole sheet and make a hell of a mess. All right, so that's how you avoid that problem. Now we're ready to install. I got screws, I got a drill, I got a mat. Yep. Here we go, and we're good to go. Let me just double check this thing. 3 inches, oof, it's tight like a toy. How we doing?
Oh, there we go.
All right, you got a little bit of flexibility.
So we're not centered? No, we got to cut the hole up to the left a little bit.
Okay, let's bring it down. And then double check for me, will you? Underneath this plastic, are there any wires getting pinched? Doesn't look like it. Okay, well, let's try this one more time. We'll show you a secret for you how you can make your hole wider. If you go square, you're as wide as the bit. But if you cut on an angle, you make the hole oblong. So we're gonna go in an angle. This goes in square. This, I'm gonna make the hole a little bit longer. Okay? So we don't want to create too much work down here. We're not doing the finishing or the taping or anything today. We just want to mark all of the studs so we can know where to find them. Oh, hold on. Because this is where the joint is, you want to measure from here and cut the other direction. 61 3/4. Okay, beautiful. Oh, don't do that. I just finished teaching everybody at home that we only cut the paper because this isn't fire rated. This is 1/2 inch.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
I'm still working like it's fire rated.
When you were doing fire rated before, we have to cut like 3 layers through. But when it's 1/2 inch, you just cut the paper. There we go. 17 3/8. We're going to put in a hole for the cable. Cable's about the same thickness as a drill bit. All right, guys, so here's the deal. The wire is ready to get fed up through the conduit and go into the new meter base. So what we do is we're gonna contact Hydro tomorrow. We have a disconnect order for the end of day, but we don't need to wait till the end of the day, obviously, because we have the new wire going from the disconnect into the house to our transfer switch. So we have the ability to turn the power off inside the house or on again. Inside, they're just setting up, taking some measurements. They've got to get a little extra conduit to get their panel height right. Building code sets our on-off switch in the panel at a certain eye level again, just to try to minimize issues of people not being able to reach, using step stools and that sort of thing. So we're calling it for the end of the day. It's 3:30. We're getting our sand delivered sometime between first thing in the morning and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Then we'll shovel back our sand. We need 6 inches in the pit so that we can lay our cable into it. And then we need sand on the ready. So then Hydro can say, yes, there's sand in the pit. You got sand to cover. Everything's good. We'll put in our wire. Boom, 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 boom. So there's a few things going on here, and that's all right. But when you got underground cable supply, it's a lot more complicated than above ground. For above ground, they just run it over, stick it in the meter base, call it done. This is a bit more of a dance. All right, guys, so here's the hole that my son dug like a machine. We've got basically foundation and weeping tile, and then it's an extra hole because Hydro wants the wire to go like this, down in that hole. And you're gonna see that as soon as we do that, it's gonna be too short, right? So they're gonna have to splice this, most likely. I'll leave that up for them, that's their decision, and if they need to, they'll do it on site, part of their job, no big deal. As mentioned, this is power in, up to the meter, this is power out. They brought it down below the ground, below frost line, and then back up again. And these connections are not glued, so that it can move up and down if there is a little bit of frost. We have about 2 to 2.5 inches of play here. Everything's fine.
The thickness that we're looking to get for the sand bed is, I think the electrician said like 6 inches under this cable. So the idea is that you lay the cable in a solid bed of sand, and then you layer more sand on top so that when the next guy comes down to try to dig up this cable, he sees the sand and he's like, oh yeah, there's something here that's dangerous, you know? So I think we're just trying to put a solid bed down so that nobody gets hurt.
All right, guys, well, the power's back on. The process is simple. They send a guy up on a ladder, and they send a guy over here. And the guy over in this hole, he's obviously spliced in the new lines. He's put in some insulated and some really tight electrical shrink wrap tape. It's an awesome little product. Puts on a new meter. The guy goes up the ladder, he cuts the wire, gets a new end, makes a new connection. They just know what they're doing. They're very professional. Our goal here now is to backfill this with sand so that we create a safety net for anybody digging in the future, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back with sand, fill the hole right up to this horizontal pipe until that is buried. And then you'll see the electricians have got some electrical line buried, red tape. We'll lay that across the sand and then backfill with clean dirt. The reason we're using the special sand is because, like the electrician told us, he goes, you know, if you get one little sharp rock in there touching a wire, the wire vibrates as the power goes through. And it ends up like a sawing motion over time. Rock penetrates the casing, all of a sudden you get water, you get a charge, boom, blows it up. They gotta come out and change the wire over. Fantastic. All right, buddy. Appreciate it. Sweet.
Yeah, that looks great.
That does look good. I'm liking that. Well, there we have it, folks. We got ourselves a panel.